Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2. I'm out here in the garage, I guess, coming to you with my typical nightly gun talk. Got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. The gun I have on the table to kind of show off is one that I'm currently working on a review for. I've already taken it to the range. This is the JP Enterprises, and I always forget the model number of this. This is the GMR-15, but chambered in 9mm. And got this thing to the range, and this might be the most accurate pistol caliber carbine I've ever shot. I know that I have said that about other guns in the past, but this one honestly takes the cake. It's amazing. I do have a few issues with it. Number one, it takes Glock mags. I know some of you guys are going to love that. I don't. I don't like the PCCs that take the Glock mags because they're angled. And also they feed from a single point. But I'll talk about that in the range report. The other feature of this rifle, which I actually thought I was going to really like and think it was really cool, but I found it to be impractical and more of a novelty than anything and awkward to use, is the side charger. So you can side charge this with this little lever right here. However, it is a little bit awkward, and I really didn't use it all that much. I thought that I would go, wow, that's awesome, because I love side charging guns like the B&T APC or the MP5 and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's a few features on this too that I don't like when it comes to, I guess, what the gun is, and I find them to be impractical. Number one is this really big muzzle brake. A 9mm carbine AR-9 style rifle does not need a muzzle brake. Give me a flash hider, because it actually did have a little bit of flash in the low light situations at my range. That was distracting, and although I think it is really cool, I don't think the gun needs a heat sink on the barrel because it's just 9mm. I know that's kind of hard to see in there. It's red, has like little fins. I've never seen that on another gun, but totally understand the purpose of it, which is to dissipate the heat. But it is 9mm. We're not talking 5.56 or anything like that. But overall, this thing gets really high marks, and let me tell you, this gun wants to run fast, and this gun is crazy, crazy accurate. So just wanted to show it off. I try to bring out a gun for every one of these gun talks. But anyway, that's what I'm working on, and if you're a Patreon supporter of my channel, I wanted to get this out tonight, but I just didn't get around to it. But I got the bullet point script all done, the range footage all done and edited. I just got to film the garage portion, and hopefully I'll do that in the next couple of days. Tomorrow night I have a rehearsal, and I won't be home early, but who knows, maybe Friday-ish or Saturday. But yeah, we'll get this out, and you guys, of course, will be the first to see it. Now, another thing I want to talk about, and I don't really have much information on, is actually as I was editing the range footage for this tonight, I saw on the news that I guess there's some type of mass casualty event going on in Maine right now. The pictures apparently make it look like the perpetrator, the evil scumbag, was using some type of AR-15 rifle. So all I can say is expect in the morning to have the usual litany of anti-gun stuff, and expect reactions in Maine and legislators in Maine to be, it's time to do something. So anyway, I don't know. I guess the reports I'm getting right now is that the perpetrator is still on the loose. So I don't know. Evil is always going to exist. It always is going to exist. So just get ready for the whole battle again for having to defend our rights. But here it goes again. The last thing I wanted to talk about was more Larry Vickers stuff. And I know, okay? Bear with me on this, okay? Because I really feel bad talking about this, because I feel like I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but a lot of you guys really seem to be interested in talking about it. I find the whole situation fascinating, not only from a legal standpoint, a regulation standpoint, a celebrity standpoint, because he is a gun celebrity, but also a reaction standpoint from people in the gun community, and also the gun culture in general. And that's what I wanted to talk about tonight, because I was asked a really good question on my video from last night today. And the question one of my viewers asked me was, Jason, why, or I guess they thanked me for covering the topic, because they said the other big channels are not talking about it. Why do you think that is? And I have seen some videos on some channels talking about what's going on, and some people are going more into the fact base of what happened. Some people are taking the opinion side. But the big channels aren't, and I have a theory as to why. And I'm curious what you guys think, if you think I'm right or wrong on this. Number one, I can tell you that the big YouTubers, number one, all know each other. They're all friends, okay? It's an elite club. It's kind of like when you see pictures of a new president when they get inaugurated. You know, they all go to the White House, and all the living presidents typically show up for a photo op. Even ones that politically you think would never get along. It's because being the president is a very elite club. It's a very it's a very exclusionary club. Not a lot of people are in that. So even though they might not get along, they still see and know each other really well. And the big YouTubers in the gun community are that way. And you can find pictures online of conventions and get-togethers and machine gun shoots and all this kind of stuff where all these guys hang out because they're at the top and the pinnacle of their game. And trust me, they're making a lot of money. I know that many, and by the way, I have no problem with that, but like many YouTubers come across as just kind of being, and I'll name one, and I'm not saying this is factual, like Iraqi veteran 8888. He comes across as just a regular guy. You know, he was working at, was it Moss Pawn and Guns when I first started watching him back with Barry, the good old days of that channel. And he kind of comes across as a country boy, and so forth. But go to Social Blade, which is a website that looks at social media and can tell you people's revenue, or it estimates people's revenue and things. And go see how much money he's making just from YouTube. Then realize that all of the reviews he does, he's getting paid probably $5,000 or $6,000 per gun to review or do a product thing on. Because that's his price if you go over to the Leviathan group that represents him. Now, I have no problem with that whatsoever, okay? I think it's great. I'm so glad that he's making a good living doing it. But a lot of these guys know each other, okay? Because I said it's kind of an elite group. When you start getting into the millions of subscribers and the money and the influence that you begin to have. And the reason they're not talking about it is they don't want to bring attention, number one, to their friend, because they probably want to defend their friend or not talk about it and bring attention to it. But also they don't want to bring attention to themselves, because one of the things that Larry Vickers got in trouble for, of course, was this law letter thing when it came to machine guns. And I've been listening to some lawyers that are also FFLs and SOTs talk about this, and they talk about, while getting the law letters for the demonstrations is not really the issue, it's the types of guns that they were trying to get for the departments they were representing. So you had these super small departments that didn't even have a SWAT team, or a special weapons team, asking law letters to get antique machine guns or rare things. Like, why would a department of 7 officers in some small town in North Dakota need access to a World War I Lewis gun? They don't, right? The ones that I hear that are more legitimate would be like an HK MP5. I mean, that's a very common weapon. Even stretching it into a Glock 18. Those are probably, good guns for these SWAT teams to have in the big cities, and so that's not the issue. But it's when you have these law enforcement agencies that are requesting guns that are really rare or come from countries with sanctions, or like what police department uses a French FAMAS rifle? They don't. So why are they asking for letters for the FAMAS rifle? So that was the issue and raised a lot of red flags. And a lot of these big gun YouTubers are also FFLs and SOTs. Take a look at Tim from the Military Arms channel, okay? He owns his own gun shop. I think it's called Copper Custom. And there's been some issues with that where he undercut some other people. People got real mad at him. I can't remember exactly what the gun was, but there was all these guns that were imported. Everyone was really excited. It turned out he got all of them and then jacked up the price. Okay, there were some underhanded dealings and so forth, and he ticked off a lot of people. And I think the issue is some of these SOTs that are the big YouTubers probably have these rare guns or difficult to get guns on these law letters from departments that they never did a demonstration for. I guarantee you in the next week or so, all these SOTs that never, demoed the guns and used the law letters to get these guns are probably going out to do a bunch of demos right now to document them. Because of what happened to Larry Vickers. That's what I think's going on, and that's why I think the big YouTubers are not talking about it. Number one, they're friends, okay? They know each other. But I think they're also trying not to garner attention for themselves because they probably all kind of do this, if that makes any sense. Some of those big channels are FFLs and SOTs. Not all of them, but I guarantee you a lot of them are. And a lot of them have probably used the same methods to get these rare guns for their collections that someone like you or I cannot get. They're kind of gaming the system. So I think that's why they're not talking about it. Second thing I want to talk about is a very interesting opinion article over on The Truth About Guns. It's kind of the second article that was published over there regarding the Larry Vickers thing. And the person that wrote it was definitely very defensive of Larry Vickers. He was defending him and saying, he didn't really do anything wrong. The laws are stupid, which I think we all can agree about. But he also said that people are looking too deep into his guilty plea because obviously we know that he is ill, okay? We know that defending this would probably cost a lot of money. And I wanted to address that specific thing because they said that the only reason he pleaded guilty, because there was no plea agreement. It's not like he got lesser charges or whatever. He just pleaded guilty. And the author of this opinion article said that because, he didn't want to, bankrupt his family. He didn't want to spend millions of dollars. He just kind of took it on the chin and pleaded guilty. And I disagree with that because I think the author of this article forgets one big thing about our justice system, is that when you go before a judge and you can plea, the charges, you don't have two options. You have three. You can plead innocent or not guilty. You can plead guilty, and you can plead no contest. Now, no contest essentially is going to get you the same thing as a guilty plea, but you are not admitting guilt. So let me ask you, if Larry Vickers only pled guilty because he didn't want to put his family through the financial hardship of his legal defense in this time, why didn't he just plead no contest? To me, that's the way it goes. He should have gone. He should have pled no contest if that was the case in his motivation. But I think there's more to it with him pleading guilty. I really do. So for those people that are still defending Larry Vickers and what I'm discovering and learning about all this, he could have pled no contest and not admitted guilt. But guess what? He admitted guilt. So I want to, curious what your thoughts are on that. The last thing I wanted to talk about, I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh, yeah. It was about something good that might come from the whole Larry Vickers case and all the people that are on this indictment, okay, including the gentleman from B&T and I guess the two chiefs of police from around the country that were part of this conspiracy. Is with the outcome of this indictment and if they're found guilty, plead innocent, or not guilty, or no, whatever it is. This is going to open the door for potentially fighting the NFA and the importation regulations of the ATF in court, because now you have people that have standing. You know, one of the things that I think goes beyond the mandate of the ATF, it was this whole importation regulation stuff. Like when it comes to pistols, you have those import points. And then you have the executive actions of presidents like George H.W. Bush that ban assault weapons from importation. You have 922R that deals with importation, all this kind of stuff. And I think that might be brought up now as unconstitutional, because number one, you have somebody that has standing that can fight the law, because you can't say they don't have standing because they got arrested, right? They were injured by the enforcement of this law. And I think in court, it's going to be very hard for the federal government to prove that import restrictions based on points or features of a rifle have any historical analog going back to 1791. So that might be something that happens in the future, be able to fight these laws from a legal standpoint. So there might be a silver lining in this cloud. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. I hope you guys are having a good night. Really impressed with this JP Industries 9mm carbine. And of course, thoughts and prayers go out to people that were affected in Maine. As I said, I don't really have much information, because right now the information that I have as I'm filming this is just that it happened, the person's on the loose, and a bunch of people have been injured. But it's a reminder every day that evil exists, and you have to be prepared for it. You have to be prepared for it. But get ready to have to debate your anti-gun colleagues, friends, family, and all this once again, because evil struck. And we all know tomorrow what the news media is going to be reporting and claiming, and all the experts and all that. So good luck. Here we go again. So because it's kind of a sad night, due to that, I'm not going to do my whole, like, if you watch to the end, say something. Just because I don't want it to be, kind of a joke, because I think it's a very serious thing about what happened tonight. So anyway, I hope you guys are all having a wonderful evening wherever you are around the world. Thanks for coming to my garage. I love having these talks with you, and they have been very, very enjoyable the past couple of weeks, and I'll just continue them if you guys want me to. So, as always, thanks for watching.